housing market is shifting. Is now the best time to buy a house if you're a buyer? What about if you're a seller? Is it still a good time to sell your house? Well, that is what I'm talking about in today's video. This video is actually going to be broken down into 5 parts, and we are deep diving into the Park City, Utah housing market. What is going on? The past 3 weeks, I've really been posting a lot of videos about the market shifting and what you should be expecting if you're a buyer or a seller. In the first part of this video, we're going to dive into the stats that I send out to my email list who is on my newsletter every single quarter. And if you're going, hey, I want to be on that newsletter, then make sure you sign up for my newsletter. And it's always dropped down in the description link down below. Or if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, you can always click on sign up for monthly newsletter in that channel banner. And I send out great content every month, all local Park City information. I never spam you, so you don't have to worry. I'm very respectful about that. The second part of this video, we're really gonna get into the nitty-gritty. We're gonna do a deep dive into the 28 areas and the neighborhoods that make up the Wasatch Back. What are the median home prices and what is the data telling us? I'm gonna break it down from single family home to condo to land. And in the third part of this video, we're gonna do more of a monthly breakdown. Now, I prefer to look year over year. I think that gives you a more realistic view what is happening with prices. However, from a monthly view, we can really look at how long homes are actually sitting on the market in a specific neighborhood, what the absorption rate is in that market of that specific neighborhood, how long will it actually take your home to sell if you're over the median price, and how long it will take if you're under the median price. So that gives you a better idea if you're a seller thinking, hey, I want to sell my house, but I really missed the peak of the market. You know, what's going to happen? What can I expect? In the fourth part of this video, we're going to be looking at the new listings that came on the market in the last week, how many price drops we've had, and how many under contracts we have, as well as how many cancellations we have, meaning that we do have buyers that cancel. So what's the fallout rate? What's going on in this market? And in the fifth part of this video, we're gonna talk about the takeaways, right? Why is now a good time to buy if you're a buyer? And why is it still a good time to sell if you're a seller and you're thinking of selling your home? Part 1, we're really gonna dive into the stats that I send you quarterly. If you're on my monthly newsletter, you should be getting this brochure shortly. So first off, we're looking at Park City limits, right? This is the 84060. Now, if we look at 2022, right, where the little hand is, back in 2021, the median price was 2.75 million. We're looking at 3.7 million. So while the units sold are down 54%, we still had an increase in prices of 35%. Now, if we look at condos and townhomes, again, the units sold were down 32% from last quarter 2 in 2021. So back in 2021, you were at 1.2 for a condo or townhome, and now you're at 1.375 for a condo or a townhome. So again, the units that have sold are dropping, right? Because the prices are going up, the interest rates went up. There could be a whole bunch of reasons for why we haven't sold as much. And it's mainly due to what's happening in the economy. People think there's a recession coming, and the high interest rates could likely be deterring a few buyers. However, the prices are still going up. Now, if we look back to 2019, which is more of a normal market, you were $800K for a condo. And if we go to fast forward to 2020, you're 1.3 for a condo or a townhome. Now, if we go back to that and look at that again on the single family roster, look, back in 2019, this was a normal market. $2 million for a single family home in the Park City limits. Remember, this is median price, so it differentiates with each neighborhood, which I'm going to break down in part 2. But $2 million today, it's 3.7. So prices are still going up, even though if you look back to 2021, it was 3.3. So there's still an increase in the Park City limits. There's a high demand up there. So what you need to know is that the single family homes did drop and so did townhomes and condos. Cruise out to the Snyderville Basin, which is the 84060. Back in 2019, the median sales price was 1.25. Today, it's $2.132 million. Again, that's an increase of 22%, but units sold are down 37%. If we look at condos, back in 2019, a more normal market, $549,000. Now, if you look to 2022, we're at $985,000. Also, the vacant land in this area, you're at $1.1 million for vacant land. Again, our sold volume for single family homes is down, but look, our condos and townhomes are actually up. So still desirable. People still want to buy. Now, if we take a look at the Jordanelle area, when we look at single family homes, this is like the hideout area. This is where all the new construction's going. A lot of homes in this area are not in Summit County. This would be considered Wasatch County. Sometimes your address says Camas, which would put you back in Summit County. It just kind of depends on where you're at and which neighborhood you're in, because the county lines are kind of funky over here. So single family homes, if we look back to 2019, you're at 1.76 million for a single family house, right? Normal market. Now, if we look to 2022, you're at 2.5 million for a normal market, for an increase. So actually it's gone down out here by 17%. They're down 10% in units sold. Condos and townhomes back in 2019 were 611K. And in 2022, we're at 920K, which is an increase of 29%. But the prices have still gone up, because last year they were at 700. So you've got a median sales price in this neighborhood of 2 million for a single family. Condos 920. The vacant land is $800,000. So if you're looking for land out here, the land has gotten more expensive. It's increased 102% out here. Sold volume is up, and for condos and townhomes, as well as vacant land. So maybe that tells you that people are really looking for that new construction, that new super modern look. In the Heber Valley, this is really interesting to look at Heber. So Heber is on fire, even though it says our units sold are down. So if you look back at 2019, you could buy something for 534K. That's a normal market. Prices have doubled almost. You're at you're at $1 million if you want to buy something in Heber, which is a 40% increase. For vacant land, there's not really a whole lot of townhomes and condos in this area. More vacant land and more single family homes. So if we look at vacant land back in 2019, you could buy something for $250. That's a median price, right? We look at the median prices, not the averages. And in 2022, you're up to 470. That's a 78% increase. Again, our units are down for being sold, and that could be due to a number of things such as the economy. So median sales price for a single family home in Heber is about $1 million. Condo townhome is 476, and the median price for vacant land is 470. They're up 6% in sold volume. Now let's take a look at East Summit County. So if you don't know where East Summit County is, this is like Camas, Oakley, Peoa, Browns Canyon, Colville, Wanship, Rockport, this whole area. So we look back to 2019, you could get something for $495 out here. And in 2022, we're up to $906 for a median sales price. So again, units sold are down, but we're up 33% in price. Now, if we look at vacant land, this is kind of the same thing as Heber. We don't really have a lot of condo townhome type stuff out here, more vacant land. So back in 2019, you could buy something for $129K. And now you're looking at $300K for something, which is up 69%. Again, the units sold are down. So for a median price out here for a single family home, you're looking at about $900K. For a condo or townhome, $575. And for a median sales price for vacant land is about $300K. Again, the sold volume is up for single family homes, but down for land. Part 2 of this video, we're going to jump into each neighborhood line by line. So going through the Park City limits, which is the 84060, you have 9 neighborhoods in this area. So your median price for Old Town is going to be $3.1 million, which is up 50% from last year. Remember, this is year over year. In Thanes Canyon, you are looking at $4.4 million for Thanes, again, up 50%. Last year, it was only 2.9. If you're looking at Lower Deer Valley, 3.725 million, that's up 35%. If we're looking at Deer Crest, that's about 7.3 million for something. That's up 7%. But you also have to look at units sold. We only had 4 units sell, and last year we had 16. Now, if we look at Upper Deer Valley, you're at $6.4 million, which is a 26% increase, right? We had 15 units sell year over year, but last year we had 30 units sell, so half the sales. Empire Pass, you're at 8.4 for a single family home, 8.4 million. We had actually 5 homes sell in this area. Last year we had 10, so again, we're down 50%, but up 43% in price. The Airy, which is one of my favorite places, it has one of the best views ever, is 3.5 million. You're up about 3%. There were 7 homes sold this year over year, and last year there were 18. If we look at Prospector, you're at 2.6 for a median sales price. That's up 122%. I've really noticed there's a huge hike increase in Prospector. There are 12 homes sold year over year to date, and there were 18 sold last year, so a little bit down, right? We want to look at the quantity. We want to look at quantity sold because that gives us a little better idea of kind of the prices, because if only 2 homes sell, that gives us a little bit of data as well. So Park Meadows, $3.2 million. Again, that's up 16% year over year. We had 47 units sell and 81 sell last year. So as Park City Limits as a whole, so all 9 of these neighborhoods combined, you're looking at a median price of $3.7 million, which is still up 35%. However, we've only sold 162 units year to date. Last year, we sold 361, so that lets you know that we're cooling down a little bit. Now, if we look at family homes in the Snyderville Basin area, this is the 84098. Canyons Village, you're at $9.8 million for a single family home, and that's really driven because Canyons Village is the colony, which is that gated community where the billionaire bought the recent billionaire of Rocks, or the recent home that sold for $39 million. So you're up 13%. Only 14 homes have sold year to date. Last year, there was 28 homes that sold. If we look at Sun Peak Bear Hollow, we're at $1.373 million for a single family home. That's up 6%. We've had 10 sell this year to date and 32 last year. So again, we haven't sold as many. So the red kind of tells you that what areas we're down in, okay? So if we look at Old Ranch Road, you're at $6.4 million for a median sales price out here. That's up 57%. Again, we're down 27% because we only had, or down 21% because we only had 11 sell and 14 sold last year. Kimball Junction, you're at 1.150. Kimball Junction is kind of like Black Hawk Station, Trout Creek, those areas. Up 54% because last year the median price was $745. We had an equal number sell year to date, 13 and 13. If we go to Pine Brook, you're at 1.735 million, which is up 36%. We've had 36 sell. Last year we had 62, so we're down 42%. Summit Park, this is another area. Look at 1.142 million. You're up 39%. 42 have been sold. Last year there were only 35 sold, so we're really up in this area in volume. However, last year it was 819. It was about 819K for a house, and now you're looking at 1.1 as a median price. Jeremy Ranch, you're at 1.9 million. This is up 38%. Last year it was only 1.376. We had 38 listings sell this year to date. Last year we had 86, so we're down also in that area. Glenwild, you're looking at 5.1 million, 40% increase, and 19 units sold this year. Last year 44 sold year to date, so down 57%. Silver Creek Estates, we are at 2.875 for a house out here. Last year it was 1.650. We're up 74%. 20 units have sold year to date. Last year there was 38, so we are down 47%. So if we look at Trailside Park, $1.350 million, you're up 8%. we had 29 units sell. Last year we had 39. South Silver Creek South is going to be a median sales price of $552,000. Last year it was $781,000. This is like Silver Creek Village. I also have a video on this if you want to go check it out. The thing about Silver Creek South is that you're not in the Park City School District, and that is the same with Promontory. Promontory, you're at $3.5 million for a median price, 36% increase. 96 have sold. Last year we had 158 sell, so we're also down there. So as a whole of all of these areas, so the Snyderville Basin has 22 neighborhoods. You are $2.132 million for a single family home out here as a median sales price as an overall area, which lets us know that we're up 22%. However, we're down in sales because last year we had 601 sales. Year to date, this year we have 380. So we're definitely feeling that cool off. If we take a look out around the Jordanelle, we've got 1.9 for a median sales price. And we actually sold more in this area. If you look at Deer Mountain, we're at 2.3 for a median sales price. Again, if you want to look at all the quantities sold, we are down. Toohey, you're at $2.652 million, up 22%. 26 have sold. Last year, we had 36 sell. If you look at South Jordanelle, you're at 1.1 million, so we're actually down 61%. The median last year was 2.8. So if we look at a summary of Jordanelle, you're right around $2 million for a median sales price. Now we're going to look at year to date for Condo. So again, starting within the Park City limits, going to Old Town. You're about $1 million for a median sales price in Old Town. For Thanes Canyon, non-existent because we don't have condos in this area. For Lower Deer Valley, you're at 1.8 million. Last year it was 1.2. Deer Crest, you're at 3 million. Last year it was 2.9. Upper Deer Valley, you're at 1.8. Last year it was 2.5. So Upper Deer Valley, maybe that's an opportunity. Empire Pass is 3.7. Last year it was 2.9. Ari, 2.5. Last year it was 1.7. Prospector is 411. Last year it was 224. Now Prospector has a lot of like Prospector Square condos, carriage house. Like these are really older units that are like studio apartments. Basically, they're really small studios. So you're basically getting a studio that's 400 square feet for 224 that has an HOA of $1,000 a month. So keep that in mind. Park City or Park Meadows, one of my favorite neighborhoods, 1.6 million. Last year it was 1.2. So if we look at the Park City limits as a whole, 1.3 for median sales price for a condo or townhome if you're looking in the limits. Now, if you're looking out at Snyderville Basin, the 84098, again, Canyons Village is 1.2 million. This area is booming. Sun Peak, you're at $1,000,075. Silver Springs area, you're at $1,037. This has had a huge increase because last year you were at $797. Kimball Junction, you're at 617. Again, this is like Powderwood, Crestview, Canyon Creek condos. Pinebrook, you're at 873. Last year you were at 654. Summit Park, you're at 654, and last year it was 500. Summit Park has one area that has condos. That's it. Jeremy Ranch, you're at $1,032,000. Last year it was $800K. Silver Creek South, you're at $700K. Last year it was $552. So Promontory, you're at 1.3 million. So as a whole, you're about $985 for this area as a median price. Now, if we jump out to Jordanelle, you're at $969. Last year it was $615. Deer Mountain is $809. Last year it was $590. Toohey, you're at $988. Last year it was $862. South Jordanelle, you're at $830. Last year it was $715. So the Jordanelle area, expect to spend around $920K, somewhere around there. If we look in Midway, you're at $520, and last year it was $374. So like the Hamlet, these types of areas, Swiss Estates, those types of areas. Heber doesn't have anything in Northfields. or Heber North or Red Ledges. So we're going to go, or Red Ledges is 1,042,000. So they have townhomes. Heber is 417. And as a whole, you're at 476. Now, if we go to Camas area, we're looking at 575. And if we go to Camas Valley, 575. And those are kind of other areas. Now let's dive into the land. So Park City limits, you're at 1.3 million for land in Old Town. In Lower Deer Valley, you're at 1.650. In Deer Crest, you're at 1.7. In Upper Deer Valley, you're at 3.3 million. In Empire Pass, you're at 3.1. Erie, there was nothing that sold land-wise there. Prospector, you're at 1.1 million, and Park Meadows, you're at 2.1 million. This is for land, my friends. Okay, so if you're looking to buy land within the Park City limits, which is the 84060, expect to pay around 1.9 million. Canyons Village, you're at 3.7 million. Silver Creek didn't have any land to sell this year, but last year it was 750. Old Ranch Road, you're at 3.6 million. Pinebrook, you're at 465. Summit Park, you're at 325. Jeremy Ranch, you're at 887. Fit 500. Glenwild, you're at 1.3 million, and Silver Creek Estates, you're 1.4 million. You've got a lot of acreage out there. Trailside, you're at 970. Silver Creek, you're at 7.2 million. I wonder if that's because there was one unit that sold. That's what's throwing that off. Promontory, you're at 1.1 million, and Snyderville Basin. So as a whole, if you want to buy land in the 84098, expect to pay about 1.1 million. Let's look at this as a monthly breakdown. So we're going to do Old Town first. So you're about 4% absorption rate, 10 days on the market, and 99.4% asking price received. We look at Thames. Only one unit sold, so this really doesn't give us a great idea. There's 4 homes for sale in this area, 90% asking price received, 4 months absorption rate. We go into Lower Deer Valley. Remember, these are all single family homes. This is not condo. Lower Deer Valley, about 2 months absorption rate. People are getting what they want for their homes in this area, 100%, but there's also only 2 units that sold. In Prospector, again, 4 months absorption rate. You've got 4 on the market. The average days on the market in this area is 44%, but again, it was going for over asking. Dive into Park Meadows. It's about 55 days on the market. Only 2 units sold last month. You've got 14 new listings, 95% of asking price, and 99.5% absorption, 9.5 months absorption rate. So if you're asking me, Park Meadows is sort of turning into a little bit of a buyer's market. There's a lot of inventory in this area. The homes have gone up in price, but there might be a little bit of bargaining to be had on the seller and how serious they are and the house and all that jazz. So let's look at Canyons Village. So Canyons Village, this is the colony again. Look, 2.5 months. So this is still a buyer's or a seller's market. People are getting what they want for these houses over here. Look at Summit Park. So you're looking at 99.8% asking price. So not too far off. There's only 4 houses in this area. There was an average of 6 days on the market last week, 1.3 months absorption rate. So that's really like, if you're priced over the median, it's probably going to take your house longer to sell. So if you're over 1.385, it's going to take longer for your house to sell than 1.3 months. But if you're under that, that's about what you can expect your house to sell for. It'll probably take about 1 month. It'll probably take about 1 month to sell. Okay. Jeremy Ranch, I always like to look at this area. You're at 2.1 for a median sales price. Only 3 sold last month. So not a great pool to pick from, which is why I like doing year over year. However, things are not going for full asking price in this area. There's about 16 homes for sale in this area. Similar to Park Meadows, they have a lot of inventory, and you're 5.3 months absorption rate. So again, if you're priced over this median price, It's going to take longer for your house to sell if you're priced under it and it's in good condition, it's in a good location, it's staged well, and it's prepared for the market. You should sell in less than 5.3 months. And I'm not going to go through every single neighborhood because that would take forevers, because we also have condos, townhomes, and land to go through. So if there's a specific neighborhood or specific area that you're like, Nicole, what's going on? How many days on the market is it? What's the absorption rate? If I list my house, what's my house worth? If we list my house for over the median sales price, how long is it going to take? If we list it for under, how long is it going to take to sell? There's so many nuances and strategies that you need to take into consideration now that the market is kind of shifted and cooling. Part 4 of this video, I want to look at what's happening new listings per week. So over the last week, we've had 92 new listings. We've had 58 close. We've had 13 come back to market, and we've had 90 price changes. We've had 41 that actually went under contract. And we've had some buyer fallout, which we weren't seeing at all the last 2 years, right? So if we look in the price changes, the majority of these are not price increases, they are price decreases. Price reduced, so you can kind of get an idea, okay? The 5th part of this video, the final part of it, what are all the takeaways? What does all this data mean, Nicole? What does it mean? What it means is that Park City is a very hyper-local market. It depends on if your house is located in Summit County. It depends on if you're in the Jordanelle area, or it depends on if you're in Wasatch County, Heber, Midway, because each market is doing something different, let alone each of those neighborhoods that I broke down for you, right? Old Town is doing something very different than Summit Park. So it's important to know what is going on in your local neighborhood, how many active listings there are, how many there are that are actually pending, what the average days on the market is, what the median sales price is, and what's the absorption rate. Because what you price your home at, if you are a seller and you are pricing that above that median sales price, it's going to take longer for your house to sell. And some homes are just absolutely spectacular and grand and are going to be absolutely more than the median sales price, right? There are homes that will not fit that median sales price. That if you priced it under, you would that would just be insane. There are homes that are very much going to be in that $6 million, $7 million range. Just depends on if you're in that range, what is the median price in your neighborhood? And that can give you clear expectations on really how long it will take for your house to sell and how much demand there actually is, right? There's still a lot of buyer demand. We're still pretty low inventory compared back to, if you go back to a normal market, 2019. And I've had 2 other videos where I show you this, so I'll link them here if you want to go check those out. What does this mean if you're a buyer? Well, I would say that it means that it's a great opportunity to buy right now because we have tons of inventory. You've got options. Homes aren't selling in 4 hours with 20 offers, so you don't have to have bidding wars and outbid people and waive your due diligences. You've got time. You can go to open houses. You can probably get an offer accepted with a loan. Believe it or not, you might have a little bit more negotiation power because a lot of sellers are still wondering why my house is sitting on the market and it's been a month, right? And I just showed you why their house is sitting on the market for a month. So a lot of them are getting antsy, like, well, I wanted my house to sell in 2 days because over the last 2 years, like, that's what was happening. I didn't have to do anything to my house. I threw it on the market and I had 4 offers that were all cash in like 4 hours. And so the expectations of what was happening 2 years ago and even 2 months ago versus now are quite a bit different, right? The market has shifted. So as a seller, you really have to gear your expectations going forward. Okay, what's happening now? And these things are caused because, buyers, the interest rates are going up. And the stock market was down, and there's inflation, and there's, signs of a recession, and what is going on in the economy. That affects people's buying decisions. It affects it a lot. And also, who are you talking to? If you're watching this video and I'm talking to you, it really depends on what generation you're in, right? A baby boomer is going to be like 5%, 6% interest rate. Like, it's not the end of the world. But if you're a millennial and you've only been in the housing market the last 10 years, like, you're going 5.5%, this is ridiculous. This sucks. So it depends on what generation you're in, actually. And it also depends on your specific circumstances and your life circumstances. Your season of life is never going to perfectly align with what is happening in the market. The market only presents obstacles. Hey, my name is Nicole Bowdle. I'm a local real estate agent in Park City, Utah. I've lived here for 36 years. If you want to know more about what is going on in the housing market, please feel free to contact me. My information is dropped down in the description down below. And make sure you go check out this video next because it is a tour of all the neighborhoods of Park City.